One of InDesign's strong points is definitely page layout, which of course makes it great for content upgrades and printables. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a simple worksheet with InDesign. This is actually one of the content upgrades I have on my site, and I'll be showing you how I set this up. And if you haven't been through my free InDesign Basics course, I go through some of the tools, palettes, and features that I'll be using in this tutorial. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is create a new document. So you just go under File, New Document. Okay, and then in here, actually most of this is good. The only thing I'm going to turn off Facing Pages, and I'm going to set some different margins here. I've got a little bit, these are kind of odd margins to kind of make this worksheet look the way I need it to. So this, I'm going to make this 0.45, 0.4. Okay. And all I did, notice this little icon right here. If you uncheck that, it allows you to set up different margins like this. If you have it clicked on, whatever number you type in any of these boxes, it's going to keep it the same number all the way around. So that's just how that works. Okay, that's all I need to do in here. So just say OK. All right, and then I'm going to save it. File, Save. Okay, and I'll just call it Worksheet. And just save. Okay, now, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and create the header. And over here, I've got some text and I've got a line. So I'll go ahead and make this. So all I need to do is select the type tool and draw the text box for my word that says Worksheet. Okay, and then let's see, I need to format this. And all you do, again, just click and highlight in the text box, and you can type in you've got all of your character formatting tools right here at the top in the control palette. So this is going to be, and the font menu, it acts almost like a search feature when you type in a letter. You can either search this way, or you can just type in something if you know, or if you're not exactly sure, you can kind of narrow down your choices by typing in certain letters. This needs to be Railway Regular. Okay, and the size is going to be bigger than this. Okay, and this is the font size. This is the spacing between lines here, and I'll just enter. Okay, and this also has a color to it, so I'm just going to add in the swatches palette. I'm going to add a color, and over here, all you do, this little icon in the corner, new color swatch. Okay, and you can also mix color in here if you are not sure exactly what color you want, or you can just type in numbers. So I'm going to type in what I want here. And just say OK. Then click on the type tool again, highlight, and click on the color. There we go. Now notice real quickly there that you can see an outline around you basically can see the text box. So the way to turn that off, let me show you in my original here. Basically, when you open an InDesign file for the first time, this is what it looks like. You'll see lines around all of your text boxes. If you have an image in your file, it's going to look pixelated, kind of like this, kind of like my logo. So the way to fix that really quickly, under View, Overprint, Preview, and that takes that away and makes your page look the way it's supposed to look. So I'll go ahead and do that over here. View, Overprint, Preview. Okay, so I've got my word here, this part of the header. And I'm just going to, with my type tool, or not with the type, with the pointer tool, I'm going to resize this text box because I like to keep text boxes a little bit reined in because it's easy to accidentally click inside of them when you're not meaning to if they're kind of bigger like that. So I'll just make it a little bit smaller. Okay, now I've got some other type up here. And I'll just draw another text box. Okay, and then highlight. You edit, you kind of, when you're working with text, you kind of toggle back and forth between the type tool and the pointer tool. You actually format your text, type your text in, and draw the text box at first with the type tool. And then if you want to actually do anything with the text box itself, you select the pointer tool again and can move it around or resize it. So let's see, I'm going to go back to formatting and type tool, click inside and highlight. And this is going to be Sanchez. And the size on that, 16, and it's also going to be aligned to the right. And these are the tools in the control palette where you would change that. Okay, and I'm just going to move it. Oops, I clicked center. Okay, to the right. And the pointer tool, I'm going to move this up here and resize this. Now I've also got, this is not black like that. I need to change this color. It's going to be black, but it's going to be a tint of black. It's not going to be kind of a gray. So you can, for any color that's in the swatches palette, you can make a tint of it, just a little bit lighter than 100%. You can either pull this slider or type in a number. I'm going to go ahead and make this 60%. Okay, now I have one more piece of type at the top that I have to make. And instead of drawing the text box again and typing from scratch, you can copy and paste and just, it'll save you a little bit of time there. So Command C or Control C and then Command V or Control V on the PC. And I'm just going to, and it keeps everything. And type tool again. Okay, so I've typed that in, and this is going to be actually railway again. And it's going to be 13. And this one's going to be just slightly darker since it's lighter. I'm going to make it 70%. And also, notice how my letters look a little bit scrunched together. You can do things with this section right here. You can add space in between the type. You can make the type a little wider or even tilt it some. I'm going to add just a little bit of space between the letters. Okay, and pointer tool again. I'm just going to move that up some. Okay, now we've got this gray line. So I'll go ahead and make that. And all you do with the line tool, select that, and I'm just going to, now all you do to make a straight line is hold down the shift key. And I'm just going to click and drag to draw it. Okay, now I need to format this. There's no stroke to this at all yet. So all you do is in the swatches palette, click on right here in this little section. This controls if you're changing the color of the fill or of the stroke. So right now the fill box is on the top, is brought to the front, and that means whatever color I click, that's going to change the fill. If I click on this box, that means whatever color I click on is going to change the stroke. So just make sure that's in the front. And this is going to be kind of a gray, so I'm going to make it black, but I'm going to change this tint to 15. Okay, and also it's a little bit thin. This needs to be thicker, so I'm going to go to the stroke palette, and again, in here you can type in a number or just use these arrows. And I think that works right there. Okay, so I've got my top. Now I can start working on this part. So first of all, what we've got basically a circle with a number in it for each of these, and then some type and some lines. So what we can do is we can kind of make the first one and then copy and paste the rest. Copy and paste that over again and then just type in the text for each one. We don't have to create each of these from scratch. So that'll save us a little bit of time as well. So okay, I'm going to go ahead then and I'm going to choose the ellipse tool and make my circle. And again, when you're drawing these, if you hold down the shift key, it'll make a perfect circle or perfect square, whichever you happen to be drawing. So I'm just going to hold down shift and click and drag. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to make that just slightly bigger. Okay. And all I did there was just hold down shift again and just kind of drag the corner if you needed to make it just a little smaller or something, or excuse me, a little bigger. Okay, so this was actually a yellow color, so I need to make that. And then, so in the swatches palette, I'm going to make the fill box on the front there. And then little pull down menu, new color swatch. And okay, so here, this color needs to be 0, 21, 80, and 0. And then just say okay. All right, so there is my yellow circle. Now I need the little number that goes on it. So I'm just going to draw the text box with the type tool. Type in the number 1. And let's see, this is going to be a little bit thicker verb. And then let's see, 23, and this is actually going to be white. So I'm going to choose white, in InDesign they call it paper. So that is that. And then I'm going to click on the pointer tool and kind of resize this text box. Okay. There we go. Now I can get started on the rest of this text. Okay, I think that was a little bit to the left there. Okay. Now, I can go ahead, I'm going to use this and just copy and paste it. And I'm going to make it with the type tool again, highlight and align to the left. This is going to be bigger, so I'm going to make a little bit bigger text box here for the time being. Now, this says your audience. Okay, so now all we need to do is format this a little bit differently. I'm just going to highlight this part because these letters are different than these. So let's see how this part needs to be. Okay, this is going to be railway bold, and you can change this pull down window right here is for when you have a font selected, if there are options for bold and italic and semi-bold, things like that. That's what that's for. So I'm going to make this bold, and this is 14 points. Okay, and it is also, it's going to be 60% black, and I've got a couple. This one is actually a little bit less. It's going to be a little bit less spacing between the letters, and I also have a little bit of, I made it just a little wider than usual. So I'm going to I'll click the up arrow there. Okay, and this one, this is going to be the light version of this font, and this is 13.5, and this is a little bit darker since it's thinner. Okay, just make that 80%. Okay, now, so I've got my text here, and I'm just going to click and drag to make this smaller. Okay, now I'm going to save this, File, Save, just kind of save our work. We've got some lines here. Need to go ahead and make those. And it looks like that's a little bit lower. Let's see. Okay. So all you do, again, I'm going to get the line tool and just hold down Shift and just click and drag as long as I need it. Now, I need to format this again, and this is I'm going to make it black. I'll go ahead and make the fill none. And this is also a little bit lighter than regular black. I'm going to make this 60%. It's also a little bit thinner, and in the stroke palette, it's the default is 1 point. I'm going to make this 0.6, so it's going to be a pretty thin line there. Okay, so now all I need to do to get the rest of my lines for this group is I'm just going to copy and paste a few of these. Okay, and this is going to be my first one. I'm going to make it the length, the long one here. Let's see, this is going to be about that long, and now I need to make a couple more. And I'm just copying and pasting. Okay, now I don't have to, I'm using my guide here to the right to actually line these up on the right. What I also can do is align these, kind of distribute the space and make it even with the alignment tools. All you have to do, first of all, if you're distributing space like this, you want to make sure the top one and the bottom one are where you want them to go. Like if you want there to be a little bit more space in between all of them, I'm going to make my bottom one a little bit lower than this. So what you would do is just select all of them, and up here in the alignment tools, we have these distributing options. So I'm just going to do this one right here, and it automatically made the space in between all of them even. So now we have our first one, and we can just copy and paste this and then just retype our text for each one. So I'm actually going to hide these margins now for just a minute. There's a keyboard shortcut for that, Command or Control. Command on the Mac, Control on the PC, it's Command semicolon. So Command semicolon to show or hide those guides. Okay, so now I'm going to select all of this and group it. That would be Command G or Control G, and copy and paste. Okay, and there are 5 total of these. Whoops. Okay, same thing with these. You can align these. I can select all of these, and again, I talk about this in my course. You can select all of these and line this up. Okay, and then on the bottom one, I'm going to make it kind of where it needs to go so I can distribute this space in between. Okay, let's see. This needs to be a little bit higher. Okay, and if I select all of these and then click on distribute, it evenly distributes those out. So now all I have to do is type in the text for each one. So I'm going to ungroup these. That was just Command Shift G or Control Shift G. Okay. And I'm going to make the text box a little bit bigger with the pointer tool, and just type in the text that I need for each one. what style fits with what you're offering. Okay, and I need to type in a number 2 also. Okay, and then on my line here, all you have to do is click on it, and you don't have to hold down shift anymore. It's already a straight line, so just kind of make it a little bit shorter to fit the space. Okay, then number 3. And that one, whoops, your message. And I'll just select the pointer tool and drag this out. Again, yeah, you do this with the pointer tool. You edit lines. You actually draw the line with the line tool, edit the line with the pointer tool. Okay, and then number 4. One thing, let me point out real quickly. When you choose the type tool, notice how as over here, the cursor has a square around it. If I hover over this circle, it's got a circle, and if I were to click right now, it would start typing inside of the circle, and that's not what I want. I want it to select my text. So make sure that it's the cursor is actually over the text, and it's showing me that by just there being just a cursor there, no circles or anything. So I'm good to click in this and highlight, and this was supposed to be number 4. So that's just something to be aware of when you are using the type tool. And Command 0 to get my page back. Okay, number 4. I'm going to make this text box just a little wider. And then pointer tool, shorten the line. It's hard to see a little bit there. Okay, and then the last one. And then when, notice how I went over a little bit, all you have to do is get your pointer tool and drag that out. And that's all that means. If there's overset text, it brings up the little red box with the plus sign in it. So all you do is drag that out and that goes away. And I need to type in my number also. Okay, and then fix the line. Okay, so that is pretty much finished except for one more thing. I have a logo down here at the bottom. So the way you would place that, go under File, Place, and then just find your image or EPS file, whichever, in the folder and just say Open, and then it basically loads your pointer with it, and wherever you click, that's where it will place it. So I'm just going to pull it over here. I'm going to show my guides again, Command semicolon, and I'm just going to resize this just a little bit. Okay, and then I'll put it over, use the guides to show me where to put it. And I'm just using, again, the up or down arrow keys on the keyboard to kind of nudge. Okay, I'll hide the guides again. Okay, so we are finished with this, and now all we have to do is export it, and it will be ready to upload to a blog for people to download. So all you do, File, Export, and just whatever you want to name it, and then down here, Format, make it Adobe PDF, Print, and click Save. Now all of this is good. This is good. Range, all that means is the page number. That's all that means. And all you do is say export. And in your folder, here is the PDF, and just open it, and there is the PDF ready to go. Now, so that is it for this tutorial. And again, if you haven't already, check out my free InDesign Basics for Bloggers video course to get an overview of the tools and features that I've used in this tutorial and also will be using in my InDesign video tutorials that I'll be posting in the future. Thanks again, and we'll see you again soon.